Hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my faithful cohort and roommate, Joe. Say hi, Joe. I said say hi, Joe. Sorry, he's a bit moody since I walked in on him, having a little private time with a picture of Esmeralda from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Apparently, he was watching the fan fiction critics' review of a bad fan fiction based on the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and well, he knows what he did. Anyway, that places aside. It's Friday night. You know what that means? Time for some SmackDown. And this SmackDown is pretty much what Raw was. It was a build-up for the Royal Rumble, which will be in 2 weeks from this will be a week from this coming up Sunday, and I have high hopes for it. Let me check in my notes. First up is we had a recap of last week where Wade Barrett premiered his new heel group, which is consisting of himself, the little twins from Nexus, Heath Slater and Justin Gabriel, and an unexpected new addition in the form of Ezekiel Jackson. Now, I hope this is good for Zeke because he hasn't really done much in the WWE other than being a chauffeur or hired muscle. I know the guy is intelligent, but last year he had less matches than Skip Sheffield, and Skip Sheffield was out with an injury, so that makes no excuse. So anyway, they come out, and Barrett says that he's well aware that Punk has taken over the Nexus, so he has reformed a new group called the Corre. That's spelled with 2 R's. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I don't know what they're trying to say with that, but that's what they're saying, the Corre. So they said they're going to take over SmackDown, and of course this doesn't sit well with the SmackDown GM Theodore Long. Hold on there, player. I don't think you may have ran that shit up in Raw, but this is SmackDown, baby. I ain't no computer. I smack the down on you. So he says he says that it won't be a repeat of Raw with Wade Barrett. And as they're talking, out comes Alberto Del Rio. He says, "Where are the minutes, Senor Barrett? You seem to forget. Raw belongs to me, Alberto Del Rio, and it's going to be my destiny to win the Royal Rumble." Wink. So, after a commercial break, we come back to Alberto being in the ring and his first match against R-Truth from Raw. Now, anyone who's seen this knows what's going to happen. I mean, R-Truth's a great athlete, but he's really soured on me lately. I'm just tired of looking at the guy. I don't want to have to deal with him anymore. But anyway, long story short, Del Rio makes short work of him and just completely kicks the crap out of him, and pretty much humiliates him, giving him some push for the Royal Rumble. But all throughout the entire match, they go backstage, and Teddy Long is unconscious on the floor. And you got technicians, and you got Vicky being the consultant with Dolph, her boyfriend. And surprisingly enough, I didn't notice it before when they first showed it because the camera was moving around. But in the background, in a suit, was Michael Tarver. That's right, Michael Tarver, the ski mask guy from Nexus, who was ejected from the group shortly after Cena joined. So I'm wondering what are they doing with Michael Tarver? So anyway, Teddy gets sent to the hospital, leaving Vicky in charge. And what is the first thing she do? Why, flaunt her power, of course, by making the main event will be Edge against one member of the Corre. She doesn't say which, so we just leave it up to your imagination. And let's see what happens after that. Next up is a match between Rey Mysterio versus Dashing Cody Rhodes. Now, it's an okay match, and Dashing looked great, but they could have let him win this one because he didn't. I don't really care for Rey Mysterio right now, so yeah, he doesn't really need a push. I mean, the guy already has the record for the longest stay in the Royal Rumble, 62 minutes and 15 seconds, I believe. And so he really doesn't need any more hype for it. Let Dashing get some excitement for it. So Ray wins, and later we find out that Ray broke Dashing's nose. Not cool, Ray. Not cool. So next up, I believe, we have a Divas match between Layla of Lay Cool versus Beth Phoenix, who might or might not be joining the Royal Rumble this year. As everyone knows, last year she was in the Royal Rumble, and surprisingly enough, she eliminated the Great Khali by kissing him and pulling him over the top rope. Short match, but very good match as far as Diva standards go. It was very strong looking for Beth. If she's in the Royal Rumble, which most likely she is, this is good. This is good for her. Up next, I believe, is a wrestling exhibition match between Jack Swagger and the Intercontinental Champion Kofi Kingston. Now, it's a standard wrestling match. Whoever gets the most pins or gets the most points wins after a certain time limit. Now, it was a nice back and forth match, but in the end, Jack Swagger won, of course, seeing as how given his amateur wrestling background. Excuse me. But he's upset that he didn't win by a much more larger deficit, so he attacks Kofi. But Kofi fights back and beats the ever-living crap out of him, much to Michael Cole's dismay. Let's see. Next match is a return match from last week between Trent Beretta and Drew Trent Beretta versus Drew McIntyre. Now, as everyone remembers from last week, Trent Beretta got a pinfall victory over Drew McIntyre, which is a big thing. But later on that night, Drew jumps him from behind and beats him within an inch of his life with a sadistic smile on his face, all in front of Kelly Kelly. Now, if you haven't been watching SmackDown, Drew has been trying to romance Kelly Kelly by showing a nicer side of Drew, a calmer side. And here he was, beating the piss out of a guy who beat him just inches, I had to say inches, from Kelly Kelly. Now this week, Trent and Drew have a rematch. And Drew pretty much beats him within an inch of his life and kicks his ass. I give it to Trent, though. Trent put up a good fight. I'm earning a little bit more respect for Trent Beretta. But Drew just stomped him into the ground. Afterwards, we see a little inkling of a nice guy from Drew as he extends his hand to Trent, but Trent's like, "Fuck that! You jumped me last week," and hits him, knocks him out of the ring. Drew then says, "Alright, no more Mr. Nice Drew." Gets in the ring and just starts pummeling him. And then out walks Kelly Kelly. She's telling him to stop, and Drew's like, "He hit me first, Kelly. He hit me first. You saw it. I was just defending myself." And Kelly's like, "Bitch, please." And goes to Trent. Drew tries to make things up, but Kelly's not having it and tells him to get the fuck out away from her. And Drew walks off like a little puppy. Burned. That's what you get for being a psycho. Anyway, next up is the arrival of the WWE Champion, The Miz, who is getting his cock blown by Michael Cole. I love The Miz. I just can't stand Michael Cole blowing him every minute of the day. It's just disgusting to watch him just be an absolute whore for Miz. Ugh. In fact, I hate him being a whore for any heel. I mean, this is one thing of liking a heel, but there's another thing for just being a total whore for them. I mean, he just might as well open his asshole up, bend over, and just say, "Go to town, Miz. I don't care. Fuck me. Miz goes on to say how awesome he is and recaps his beating of Randy Orton the week previously this week. Before he can get his statement, his "I'm awesome" chant out, the World Heavyweight Champion Edge comes in the ring, and he tells him in no uncertain terms to get the fuck out of his ring. Miz makes a statement that he'll get his chance Monday and leaves the ring, but then Alex Riley thinking that he should get the last word in, only to get a spear for his efforts. Alex Riley, you fail at everything. So we transition into the main event. Edge versus a member of the Corre. All 4 members come out, but before the match gets started, Vicky Guerrero graces us with her presence. Now, say what you want about Vicky Guerrero, I will say this. I enjoy Vicky more than I enjoy Karen Angle Jarrett that did last night from Impact. Because Vicky knows how much heat she gets. She has to know. She's been known. She goes out of her way to draw heat. She's a heat-drawing magnet, and I love her for it. And she knows how much heat she draws. That's why she always says, "Excuse me." That's her catchphrase now. But Karen Angle Jarrett, that woman should not be allowed near a mic. I mean, as one poster on That Guy with the Glasses said, it's like Karen is raping your ears. And not in the good Randy Orton way. It's like she's drilling your ears. Like, she thinks everyone is in love with her voice, so she speaks. She doesn't shut the fuck up. And I mean, I cannot stand Karen Angle. She's hot, to be sure, but I'd rather somebody duct tape her mouth shut. Seriously, my ears are still bleeding from listening to that bitch ramble. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Vicky says that they're having a special guest commentator and the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title, Dolph Ziggler. So, we got Edge in the ring with all 4 members of the Corre, Vicky Guerrero, the consultant, who basically is in charge of SmackDown tonight, and Dolph Ziggler. He has no friends out there. So, it's decided that the South African Bruce Lee, Justin Gabriel, will face off against Edge, and it's a pretty good match. Gabriel is probably one of the best in-ring talents out of the whole Nexus group. He's very good at that. He's very good, very high flying. His style is getting better, more than I can say for Heath Slater. But anyway, the match has some shenanigans with the Corre, and it ends with surprisingly Gabriel getting a win over Edge, a 10-time world champion and current world heavyweight champion. So the Corre jump in the ring, they surround Edge, and Edge looks around like, I am fucked. So he fights, but Big Zeke takes him out, and they proceed to just destroy him in the middle of the ring and leave. Then Ziggler comes and picks up the scraps. And that's how we end SmackDown. Overall, good SmackDown. SmackDown has always been good, and this Corre, this Corre thing that they've been doing, this Corre angle they've been doing, is pretty good. I'm liking it. And Ziggler still, even despite the fact that he lost to Randy Orton this week, he didn't look all that bad. So it's not that bad. And people often say that I am and the reason I didn't review TNA last night is because I fell asleep. Literally, I fell asleep. It was boring. It was nothing really worth noting. It was the same old angles, same old things that you could predict a mile away. And unless you really want your ears to bleed profusely from the screeching that is Karen Angle Jarrett, I'd skip it. Matches weren't worth anything, so it was such a boring and worthless Impact that I didn't even bother or consider making a video for. But yeah, that's my thing. Hopefully February 3rd we might get something worth reviewing. So anyway, that's my review of SmackDown, and I will see you on Monday. So it's a shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe. Well, next time, lock the door, you little pervert. Well, this is Shin Tiger Curl, that dude in the straw hat, saying, see you later, and wrestle on.